Hello guys and welcome back to Tuesday's vlog. Weekend's gone again just like that. Just quickly I want to get into it here. You can see we've got the RGM remapping van here, so you know what that means obviously. We've got the remap. First up, just around, we've got the L200 in, Alistair's. This has already been remapped. The figures of these are about 180 brake horsepower. I'll find them for the next part of the video, what it's been from and what it's to give you the figures. But I know a lot of you are interested in your L200s on this channel. So it's had a stage 1 remap, which I think takes them from about 210, something like that. I'll have to get the figures. And obviously it's had an EGR delete as well, because if you remember, these have the plates fitted. The boxes, the tuning box, then you can get the thing on your mass airflow meter, which deletes the EGR. All that's quite crude, and I did notice with mine that it did clatter on a little bit, but unfortunately when they're under warranty you need them things. If you get a remap you invalidate your warranty. Obviously this one's out of warranty, so now all that kit's come off. But if anybody's interested in buying it, Alistair is selling it. So there's a ArguTune tuning box for it, which you can up your power and torque manually by just plugging it in, and you can adjust all the figures. And as well there'll be an EGR delete module, which you just simply plug onto your mass airflow sensor, which I'll show you later on when it's down, and it deletes the EGR. Perfect when your car's in warranty, because if you've got to take it into Mitsubishi, you simply unplug it, no trace found. So they have definitely got that plus points to a remap. So that's that done. It's also getting the drop links done. Alistair said that's got a bit of a knock on it, so the front drop links, that's a new one going on there. And you actually can't get the Mitsubishi ones are I believe £120 each. Silly money. But he has some Marl ones which are good quality, good enough to be fitted, put it that way. And that's a new one on there, that side. So hopefully it'll stop the knock. If not, he's not really wasted too much money on it. We'll have a quick look underneath while it's on the lift. And that, it's looking alright. I mean, obviously this car gets used heavily off-road. So you've got to remember, it's not like your average sort of, you know, Green Lane Princess kind of thing. It does properly get used off-road. And it has held up quite well. A few little bits which you would expect where the flaky rust comes off. But yeah, thumbs up to the Lango guard, I would say. It is an invisible coating, so you can't compare it to like the thick black Schultz stuff you spray on, you know. So it will still be there doing its job, but sometimes you just can't always see it, you know. But it'll probably be due a top up shortly. It'll be in a year since it's been on. Obviously it's got these big chunky mud tyres on. BF Goodrich. So yeah, that's that. This little Citroen C3 thing. Yeah, sorry I had to see the guy with the remap, but that's the C3 done. No, the C3's in just for a pre-MOT, that's it. I'm trying to think, the guy, Pitman Pizza at Bedlington, that's their like kind of pitmobile they call it for delivering. I don't know if they've got any bits. Now I was just going to see if they had a card in there or something, but it's in Bedlington, the Pitman, I think it's called the Pitman Pizza. Definitely recommend that place, 100%. Nice guy who runs it there. That's their delivery car, just pre-MOT, because it's booked in a few weeks for MOT. This is going to be expensive. Electronic calipers, and I think this one's seized and jammed, and they're very expensive. It could be upwards of £600 for a set of rear discs and pads. If the disc's savable, we'll leave them, but I don't think there will be. So yeah, have to get this on the lift shortly and get it scanned and find out what's going on. Cougar, that was in for remap a few weeks ago. It had a little fault with a hick, and the guy from the remapping has come out and sorted it out free of charge. All he's done is fitted a blanking plate as well as the EGR delete in the map, and that just helps it sometimes. So fingers crossed that's sorted for him. But it just shows you, if you get a good guy for sorting remaps and whatnot, they'll come back to help you out, and that's really what you want, somebody with a good customer relations with them, you know. So that's that for now. I'm sorry if I'm rushed, guys. I've got a bacon sandwich waiting for us, which Alistair's brought. I just want to say thanks to Alistair for coming in. He was in last week with the Audi, and he's the guy with the L200. He's given me loads of parts over the time. He always helps out, always gives me a bit of money for a drink and my dinner. He's just been and bought our dinner. Top guy. He's been one of my subscribers from the very beginning. Thumbs up. Thank you very much from me. I've already told him that to his face anyway, but he knows I respect all his support of the channel, commenting, watching the videos, bringing his car to the garage, and that's what it's all about. If I can only just have one person I make happy or help, this makes doing this channel all the worthwhile. So I'll catch you soon, guys. I'm going to go and get some bait. Right guys, that's the L200 done. I just want to show you. That's what's left of the old drop links. It's hard to tell with them. Had to use heat on that one, obviously. But you can never fully tell. To be honest, you've got to do that much damage removing them, so to speak. So it's going to go up the test now when it goes out for a drive. If not, next step will be doing the D-bushes on the anti-roll bar. So, like I've mentioned, it's been remapped. RGM's done the remapping on it, but this is for sale. I'm going to do maybe a separate picture on this, or a video or whatever. But that's your Argu-Tune box, which I had on my L200, which in there you open it up and you can adjust your torque, your brake horsepower, all separately. Not going to argue, a remap is better, but when you have vehicles under warranty, this can just be removed. It's very simple. It's only got a couple of plugs. There's actually only one side of them that you use, to be quite honest. It's going that far back since I fitted mine. But as you can see, they're all just simply plug and play. No problem at all. No cutting wires, nothing like that. This is brand new. Even the cable ties haven't been used on it. So if it is for sale, if anybody wants to drop us a message, I can follow up for you. And as well, you've got this, which is your EGR delete. Yep, it's as easy as that. You just literally plug that into your mass airflow sensor, and then obviously the plug of the car plugs into this, and that's more or less going to be free of charge as part of the deal, because they're not that expensive, brand new, to be honest. So, and there's the little bag that you put it in, which on mine I just had it located down here. I had the wires round the back, and they just go under there. All you've got to do is take the engine cover off. If you're able enough, it shouldn't take you any more than 15 minutes, half an hour, even if you want to do a nice tidy job of it, tying everything up. So yeah, I've got the figures here. So 178 brake horsepower standard to 210, so that's a 32 brake horsepower increase, and a 60 newton meters of torque increase from 400 to 460. So that's what you get out of it's more like an economy / stage 1 remap that you get with them. So there we go. I just thought I'd put that one in. I mean, you've already seen, I probably, can I get down? There we go. There's the new drop links fitted. We're going to give it the test. But I know there's a few years on here there's Alan and a few others who are interested in your L200s. As you know, this is pretty much identical to mine. Now, I was looking at the Hitachi tow bar on it, because that was exactly the tow bar I was going to get on mine just before I sold it. But I do miss having that space in the back for the dogs, I will say. But yeah, it's gone, so there's no point in sobbing over it. It paid for my caravan and all the rest of it when I sold it. So, what we've got Volvo to look at, brakes, that's going to be expensive, we'll get to that shortly. Beetle's in for MOT tomorrow. And, I forgot to mention, this had the hick on, and it's been cured, it's just had a plate put in, because sometimes with these, all they require is when the EGR has been deleted. I don't know if I've been through this just before or not. You sometimes just need to put a plate in, and that's had the plate and the proper map done. I think I've just repeated myself there, but if I have, hey-ho. So, sorry I haven't had much chat on today, guys, because it's been rather busy. We need to get this Beetle checked, we need to get the Volvo sorted, we need to get the C3 checked over for MOT, and I want to get on with my van. I'm going to do this in a separate video. I've got a full hour's worth of separate videos on this, but I've got 2 wheel cylinders to put on this, because once the wheel cylinders are on, the wheels can be on and the van can be mobile. I don't like it being stuck in the garage like this, because it can't be moved if we require that lift. The work I need to do with the EGR and the rest of it, it can be moved before it's stripped down. I've just bought some in, I know I don't promote it, but some black Tetraseal wax oil, and I'm just going to give it a little blast underneath before I put the wheels on in these arches, because you kind of get into here once you've got the wheels back on. So I'm going to give it a blast in here before they go on and around that back axle and everything. But yeah, that's it. I'll leave it there, because there's other bits and bobs to get on with the day, and I don't want to fill up too much time. So again, thanks to Alistair for coming in. He's been in plenty of times now. Might as well be a resident. I'm going to give him a job. So I'll catch you soon, guys, when I'll get on with these other ones. Right, just a quick video of the little C3. We're just getting through them, because after this we want to check the Beetle, so we'll know what MOT, well this isn't MOT, pre-MOT, and then we'll get on with the Volvo, which is obviously more of a mechanical job. So, not bad for one of these. Front tyres are getting quite near the limits. Obviously it's not in for about another month for the MOT, so advise that possibly with the miles they're doing, like delivery driving, may need them. Done a repair and clean up to this CV boot. Front discs, they're fine, just an advisory. It's got new springs, new track rod ends. Nothing bad, Nick, actually, to what we expected. A number plate light off. Just looking up, what's here? It looks like just water or something. That could be AdBlue. I don't know. But that's some kind of an additive tank. That actually, I'll give that a bit of a rub. But yeah, one number plate light out. But like I've mentioned to you, it's a passing advice. But when it's in on the day, I'm just going to pull that little cover off and see if it's just a simple 501 bulb, and then that's end of story for that. We'll just not bother. I just want to show you this about, you know, aftermarket exhaust. Like, this is a prime example of this van. You've seen the state of the exhaust on the back of this. Admit, it looks dreadful, but it's perfectly secure, perfectly fine. I'd sooner live with that than you get one of these aftermarket ones, which you can't help. We supply and fit these. And look at that, both. Like, it's meant to have a chrome pipe that comes down like that, but they haven't even bothered trimming off the normal piece. And when you're looking at it, it just looks daft. To say they've retailed that out, you know, you think they would have just cut it there, wouldn't you? But that's just it. That's why I keep saying aftermarket exhausts. You can't avoid them sometimes, but my advice is keep your old original one going for as long as possible. But yeah, that's it. Just a quick one on this. There's nothing really more to report on. Just going to get this checked as well now. Get that tucked back home and bring my dad's car in. Got this little thing in. New 22 plate. GT line Picanto. Do you know what it is? I like that. I do actually like the way that looks. Without making the woman wonder what I'm doing, I'll quickly walk over here and just show you the front. Because she's just an old lady, so she'll probably not know what I'm doing. But that is a cracking looking little car. Obviously, I've got my little Astra here. Hence, I'm walking over here to make it look less suspicious, shoving a camera on someone's face. But yeah, we're going to get the Citroen off, get the Beetle on. I'm actually just going to pause this to save doing another video of it. And the next minute you'll see, click like that, the Beetle will be in. So here we go, I've just bought it in, the Beetle. Not my car whatsoever, these. I really cannot stand them. From day one, I haven't liked them, to this current day now. The most awkward cars ever to do bulbs on. They say the headlamps just slide out. When the clips break, when other people have been at them, they are a nightmare. Exactly the same with the back ones. Nightmare to change bulbs on them. Always issues with the boots closing. The fuel cap on this is normally knackered. But there's a sign, the fact that it's been brought in for MOT with just about no fuel in. Only 58,000 on this one. And we're meant to be able to try and go through an emissions test and drive it back and forth to Ashen. It's just a bit annoying when there's no fuel in, because, you know, inevitably we're going to be the ones running out of fuel. We've got a little repair kit for this seat, which has been sat for about a year, which we want rid of. But this one is not great. It hasn't really got air conditioning. Hasn't even got air conditioning. Pretty lowly spec. 1600 petrol. Very thirsty. Very little power. Really, in my opinion, the one not to have. These always rot very badly down here on the sills. This is an 09 plate, so it shouldn't be too bad, but they do go quite a bit around there. What else was there with this one? Yeah, I'll just quickly open the bonnet and show you another idiotic idea with them. To replace the spark plugs on them, you've got to remove the whole inlet manifold. And no, they're not platinum plugs. They are regular plugs that need changed quite often. That's all covered over, but when you lift that up, under there's the whole inlet manifold has to come off to change the plugs. Ridiculous. Air filter is an absolute royal pain as well, because when you come to lift it up, it catches on here. The battery, which I've done, is a real pain because it comes right over to here. And even getting in here to change anything on this headlamp, nightmare. And they do slide out, but you do need to get in there. So yeah, not all of the good times, I will say. Never been my favourite, and I don't really think I could bring myself to having one. Yeah, it's got obviously the little vase there with the usual flower in it. Yeah, just not 100% for me. And I'm just looking there. This seat's got holes in. Oh, that has, yeah, little dimples. I couldn't see with the sun. But yeah, these 1600s have got next to no power. They're very thirsty, very unreliable, and high tax. So there's not all of the good times with those either. So obviously for pre-MOT, we're just going around doing This sill's fine. Just checking down there. We're going to do a light check on it. Seat belt check. So obviously we'll pull the seats forward. I'm just going to go through all the lights on it and check that the various ones are working. And we'll just have to hope they are working because they're a pain, like I've mentioned, to change. So you got your dip beam there, the side lights, indicator. Do you want to go through the lights in there? So, well, obviously I'm doing it easier when you've got like an assistant, but we'll knock them back down to side lights and put the hazards on. Obviously you can see the LED in the mirrors down there, nice and orange. Again, nice and orange. And there's this mirror working. Can't really see for the sun. Yes, it is. Obviously I dip the headlights down to the side lights, which you can see are working, and we're seeing that the dip beam is. And we'll just give them a quick flash to the wall to check the high beam, which you can see on each side is working. Round to the back, pop the fog lights on. Difficult to see in this sunlight, but you can see that bulb is on, indicator's going, other one's going, that side light's on. Down there'll be a fog, which you can see is on down there. And on my hands and knees we go, and yet both of them are plate lights are working. Just get me dad there to check the brake lights on it. We'll check they're working, the reverse. Give the horn a toot. Wipers, get my face out the way. We don't want Legionnaire's disease. No screen wash. So I'm just hoping they're empty. Otherwise, we've got problems. So, just chuck a bit of water in there, just quickly see if it works. When all the lights are working, all we've got to do now is check the... Let's turn them off, turn the flashes off. He's going to stick a bit of water in and we'll just see if it works. Yeah, would have been too difficult to just put some screen wash in for your MOT, wouldn't it? But there's the wipers, they're fine, they're wiping, no problem. So, you know, it's coming for MOT with no washer fluid in and the fuel is past the minimum mark. Things you don't do, you don't piss your MOT tester off, and I think the bottom line is bring your car in with petrol, right, or fuel in, and put some screen wash in the tank. If you don't, you're just asking. You know, you don't go in and piss a dentist off, do you, before he's going to start work on you. If you're bringing your car in for MOT, make sure there's fuel in, make sure there's some screen wash in. It's the basics, the minimal basics. Just want to show you something else on here. Wipers, bent wiper blades. The Golf Mark 4s and Boras have the bent blade. On the passenger side, the near side, these have them on both because of the curvature of the screen at the bottom. So if you own a Beetle, make sure you get the proper curved wiper blades. And you can't actually see how bent they are really till you lift them off the screen, you see. So we'll just check the brake lights there, see if they're working. And the reverse light, they're the only two I haven't done. Let's just have to go closer up here because of the light. Yeah, other one, brake light, yeah. There's a couple of little bits out on there, you can see, to keep it on. It's not very that bright, there's a few bits missing, but it's not more than 50%, so that's not an issue for the MOT. That's it, reverse. Down there, happy days, that's it. So, I'm going to just quickly pause it out here, we'll get it up on the lift. If there's anything we find, I'll report back to you. Just want to quickly put this bit in, guys. So you're going to buy this car, and you turn up, and you take the oil cap off. Head gasket gone, wouldn't you? Everybody be screaming on, look at that custard in there. Terrible, walk away. Totally normal, local car, does local miles, and these were renowned for it years ago. So this whole, sorry for the language, bullshit that these people do every time you sell a car and they come thinking they know it all, taking the oil cap off to see if the head gasket's gone. Honestly, there's so many cars, a lot of the Vauxhall, the petrol engines that were in them, were like this all the time, and there's nothing the matter with it. What it is, it's just an air gap in here. The hot gases come up, the cold air meets it, and the oil just congeals. Just take it up, I'll do the oil there. So yeah, so that's, just thought I'd show you that. Doesn't mean the head gasket's gone. Right, that's it all checked underneath. Obviously, it's all gone well. Brakes, tyres, springs, all right. The usual thing for these is, like I was just saying to you before, the sills. On these little bits where the plates go in, hole there, and as you can see, finger and thumb pressure, massive hole there, probably there as well. You can see that's just all the... And I think in my mind, 09 plate car, not that old, but at the end of the day, they are getting on now, you know. We're new cars, not anymore. So yeah, so obviously those, it's ready, actually not bad for a test. But obviously this sill, I'm just looking there as well. This one will probably be gone further back. And when you take these covers off here, when you get behind this, the sill carries on. And I can bet you underneath there, let's pull this back a little bit. Ah, there, you see all that? Yeah, you see? Give that a little poke. So yeah, when you pull back these, just you are actually allowed to move pieces of carpet like that. Nothing's pulled out, nothing's broken. You just damage that. You don't make sure you don't cause any damage, but you can open them up, as you can see in there. Looking very ugly indeed. Hold all through there. Quite an intricate, I can't say the word properly, area to weld in there as well. And the other side is the same story, as you can see. Nasty looking in there. So, time to ring the customer. Because I don't think she'll probably want to spend on it. And me and my dad don't really get into the welding. My guess is that's not going to be your average thing, is just like a plate. He will be able to sort it, and it's something that he probably will do a lot. But that's getting along the lines of excessive there. Like, to what this lady likes to spend on the car, she doesn't like to spend much on it. So, unfortunately, I think that's the end of the road. Well, maybe not the end of the road for the car, somebody will do it up, but maybe end of the road for her owning it. So we'll leave that one there, guys, and we'll get the Volvo in shortly. Right, we've got the Volvo in, the lovely V70 with the 2-litre Peugeot Citroën engine in. Still can't get over that. Awful. Right, so I've got it plugged into the system, and if you listen, the handbrake, I've just knocked the back wiper on, is functioning as it should be. On. I've got my foot pressing the wrong pedal. Off. On. And there's no error codes coming up on the dash. But what this car has been suffering with is a lot of battery issues and going flat. And these are all the codes here. I'll try and get it where it's not reflecting on the light. There's just so many. Right motor, general circuit, left motor, lost communication with ECM, lost communication with central electronics, invalid data, module, blah, 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 all that. So what we're going to do with all that is one thing. Delete it all off. Right, now what we're going to do is escape. We're going to get in the car, turn the ignition off, turn the ignition on, function the handbrake a few times, on, off, on, off, start the car. Sounds awful, that starter motor. No warnings on. Again, when the engine's running, handbrake on. As you can see the light up there. Foot on the foot brake, handbrake off. Engine off. Ignition on. Scanner. Up, if I don't drop the thing. Trouble codes. Non-detected. Back again. Trouble codes. Non-detected. So, this error, the reason the car's been coming in, it's been coming in with an error on the dashboard saying electronic handbrake fault. So, discs don't look the best, but they're okay. The calipers seem to be working for now, but what is low, which I'll show you later, is the pads down there. So, to be fair on the customer, because he's a nice lad, well, I'll do it to anybody, regardless if they're nice or not. The right way to do this is, the main issue, what's going to cause damage, is the pads are very low. Strip the calipers down, check the pads on tight, they're coming out anyway. Check the calipers wind back okay, and they're free enough, and if they are, might just get away with sticking a set of pads in and see how it goes. If faults return, I've got a feeling it's not so much the calipers. I think the car has got a few electrical gremlins, and that you could so easily go down the route. Them calipers are nearly £300 a piece. So yeah, we're going to strip the back end down, get the pads out, new pads in, see if the calipers push back okay, and go from there. So I'll catch you soon, guys. Just thought I'd quickly show you what's involved with the brakes on these electronic handbrakes. The expensive type, which these are. So obviously you've got your standard caliper here with a motor and a plug, and your standard brake pipe, hydraulic brake pipe. But obviously they use an electric motor in the back. The one that's been getting tight is actually alright. The disc's not the best, to be advised, but it's certainly usable for now. But these pads are absolutely solid. So I think a lot of the problem has been the fact that the pads have been getting tight. They're low, and when the pads are low, the pistons are at a full out position, which a lot of brake calipers don't like, but these are, as you can hear, really tight. I've freed them off a bit to get in, and you can see how hot they've been getting. So we're going to have to clean these slides up, and we're going to use the machine and see if these push back. If they don't push back, it's going to need the calipers done. And you can see that in a bit of, to be honest, this whole car, for a Volvo, all this back plate on the disc has just felt the bits on the floor. As you know, this is about the era where Volvo really started to slip their quality. But believe it or not, the caliper, which is suspected to be the one that's been tight, I personally think it's just been the pads being tight. The boot's intact, which is a good sign. But on the other side, which in fairness hasn't been creating too much problems, has got a split in the boot, and you can see it's a long way out. In this, it's a good sign to know if you've got a caliper tight, is the inside one, which the piston sits on, is actually not too bad. But the outer one here, I don't know if you can see that, is basically down to the metal. So if I can get that out with my fingers, we'll put them side by side and you'll see what I mean. And you look at the difference there, how much meat's on there, and there's your wear indicator, the little V, that one's gone right through it. So I think it's, hopefully, these will wind back with our tool, which we've got here. It's just like a little air tool thing. You put it in, you turn it, you put the air pressure on. So I'll pause it and I'll let you know if they go back in. Right guys, just an update. We've had the machine on, and to be quite honest, we're going overboard with it. Actually, I had to have a bar on it, which you shouldn't do. You don't need to be using that amount of pressure. So that's enough to say that the calipers are seized, basically. There's no way we'll be able to get them to push. You can see the state of the things. The annoying thing is, there's actually nothing wrong with the electronic motors on them. It's just the good old-fashioned calipers have seized. And you cannot really take them apart or rebuild them. They're all specialist units. So this guy's going to have a hell of a bill. And now that we're doing this, it would be stupid not to do the disc. So it's going to be rear discs and pads and 2 rear calipers. It's going to be considerable money, unfortunately. But I'm just going to knock that there radio down. But that's what you're dealing with. There's your motor. And there's your caliper. Unfortunately, which isn't the way we do things, this is a genuine TRW reconditioned one. This is TRW because they're all TRW from the factory, but it's by Brake Engineering. I never like interchanging stuff, but every single one of them for the left side, is it? Yeah, for some reason all the left-hand ones are Brake Engineering, but the right-hand ones, for some reason, you can get the official TRW. But they're not brand new, they're all reconditioned, but this, as you can see, is just a whole lot better packaged. It's a specialist unit, it's nice, everything's been stripped down as it should be, basically, and probably tested. So, but it is what it is. I'm still not happy that we're paying the same price for a Brake Engineering one to a TRW one, but do you know what it is? Sometimes you've just got to put that behind you and get the job done for the customer. At the end of the day, the car's not right, it needs the calipers done. And remember, Holly's car, her Astra, exactly the same thing. I had one caliper ordered, and the other side, which was behaving itself, was actually the one that wouldn't push back. So she ended up needing rear discs and pads and rear calipers. So there's the pads, the discs, and the calipers. And on that note, with Holly's car, the speedo's gone off. So now she's having to use an app on our phone, and we just simply haven't got time to be on with a bearing, and it's, I think, about 150 quid. So for now, she's having to do that. But this is why I'm wanting to try and get this up and running, because she'll either use that or the Altea. But where our mum and dad shop with, there's a lot of undesirable people hanging about there, and I'm not going to be funny, I don't want my Altea parked there every day for probably 2 or 3 weeks while I'm waiting, where with a van she can take that there, and I'm not particularly bothered, because the amount of marks that's gathering on her car, I keep questioning Where's that come from? What's that? And it's people across there squeezing past there with bikes, trolleys and God knows what. And I know my Altia's not worth a lot of money, but I don't want the thing smashed to bits. Simple as that. That's that. That's why I walk to work as well as the dogs. I don't want my car getting smashed to bits. So yeah, so that's going to be something to look at on her car. But in the meantime, the wheel cylinders on this are here. Just going to get them on because a bit like this, it's the same principle of a drum. These cylinders are seized. They're not going back as they should be. So what's happening is when you're braking, the shoes are coming out, but they're not retracting back because these pistons in the little cylinders are gone. It's basically the same context as a disc brake with your caliper. That's your hydraulic piston. But they've got one piston / 2 areas where they push. This has got one. So yeah, the only difference is they're about 300 quid. They're 12 quid each. Which is why I drive around in vehicles like these. Mind, I'm not giving it all its due because I've explained on a separate video I'm doing £700 for an AGR valve for this, nearly £400 for a one from our suppliers, and like I say, I've managed to get one for 80 quid. But testing's to be done to this. But our main thing is I want the wheels on, so it's off the lift, so there's a free lift if required. I don't like it being stuck on there. All the AGR and starting work can be done on the bonnet. The lift is not required. So we're going to get on, have a coffee, I'm going to start stripping them discs off, get the new discs on, caliper carriers back on, and we'll get on disconnecting the hydraulics for doing the brakes. So I'll catch you soon. Right guys, that's the Volvo almost sorted. We decided to go down the route. When we pushed them back, they were completely seized. So it's had both the new rear calipers fitted, new pads, but we're leaving the discs because, to be quite honest, this car, I don't think the guy's going to be keeping for much longer. It just seems to be nothing but bother. So yeah, new nice Padgett pads in there. Caliper, bled them, and I've just had the computer on there and wound back the electronic handbrake on it. So now the electronic handbrake is calibrated in, as you can see, plugged in. That plug was split at the top. I'm going to put a cable tie around it. Now we're just checking if we've got any little leaks or anything like that around the calipers. But that is the Volvo done, and that completes the day. The Beetle has gone, everything has gone, the Cougar, the lot. Just on with the van, but I'm not going to get too much into that because I'm saving that for a separate vlog on doing work on the van, project van, whatever you want to call it. So that's it guys, bit of a long one today. Going to leave that, probably cut things short tomorrow. Catch you on tomorrow's vlog on Wednesday. Hello guys, welcome back to Wednesday's vlog. This morning, well, today's going to be a short one because I put quite a lot of content in for you yesterday. So I'm going to keep this one short for 2 reasons, which I'll explain. And also I want to get on with a few jobs. So just so you know, and it keeps the overall length of the weekly vlog a bit shorter. So what we've got in today is this little Polo, what do they call it? Blue motion technology. I haven't even looked under the bonnet, but it's some kind of a petrol, I don't know, be like a direct injection thing, probably a 1 litre 3-cylinder. But I was just talking to somebody about one of these, funny enough, the other night. This isn't a 52 plate, ignore it. And also ignore them awful 4D plates. Sorry guys if you like them, it's really not my thing. They're actually illegal as well. But believe it or not for an MOT. Because they're BSAU marked, and also they've got the plate manufacturer on, and you can read them. It's as far as it goes for an MOT, but for the police, with all this red, I don't know if you notice it, like red backing on them, they're actually illegal for the police, believe it or not, for the AMPR cameras, because they don't pick them up properly, but it's fine for an MOT. But yeah, with these Polos, this is about a 10 plate or something. One place to watch for on these is this area of the sill right here. This one's fine, but I have had ones in which are really bad, but this one's just starting to go on here. It's fine, solid, because of that little recess up there, see that? All the muck gets in behind it and tracks in, and you end off with a whole line along here, massive hole along the sill. So if you are ever looking at one of these Polos, I used to remember the names of them. They were like a R5 or something. I've lost track. I've lost track what even mark they are. My first car was actually a bright red Polo, just like this, a 3-door one, an N-Reg, 1 litre, red Polo. I used to like them then when VAG were okay, but these level of Polos I have just well and truly lost interest. Along with the Golfs, they are just the world's most boring cars. I've got no interest, so I couldn't even tell you what version, what mark or anything it is. But just, it's in for MOT. The rest of it underneath is quite tidy. Nothing to write home about, really. Few little bits on the back brakes are tight. Just going to give them a bit of a tap, remove a wheel nut, blow all the dust out of them. But bar that, it's okay. So what I am doing, I'm going to do is I want to try and get this off the lift and running. And I'm not going to talk too much about this because I'm doing a separate vlog on the van. But quickly to let you know, I've gotten a £700 EGR valve, genuine GM1, which in turn is actually a genuine, because I keep telling you, it's a hell of a weight, this thing, a genuine Isuzu Denso original equipment Vauxhall one for £700, and I've paid the grand sum. I think we posted about £70-80 for it. So it's an absolute nightmare to change, because like I've already showed you, that unit is there. It's buried right down into the bowels. I'll probably have to remove the battery in the battery box or something like that to get in. So, but we'll keep that for the van video. I would like to get that done because today is the 1st of February, so therefore I want to get it taxed. The whole reason I haven't been using it is because it's not taxed. So as it happens today, that's why I'm going to have a time to do it. That Beetle that was in yesterday was meant for today, and we did expect to do work to it. So we've actually only been left with this and a few other little bits and bobs, a few people want scans to do. So it gives me a perfect opportunity to get that done so it's off the lift and out the way, or at least running so I can take it home and stuff. And on that line, I've gained another parking space temporarily. The guy next door to me is unfortunately split up with his partner. That's not a good thing for him, clearly. But he's asked me, he said he works away quite a lot, and he says, feel free to park any of your cars on my drive whenever you like. For now, clearly, if you meet somebody else, then things will change. But he says, park what you want on my drive. And he says, to be honest, when I'm away for long periods of time, that's absolutely perfect. And let's face it, perhaps on his drive, painter and decorator van, it's going to even look even better for him, because it's going to look like he's getting work done on the house, isn't it? So yeah, it's temporary, and clearly if there's any leaks or anything, I'll be putting a tray underneath and stuff. I'll probably park the van on my drive maybe and deal with the trays and leak it on my drive, and park the Altea, which has no leaks at all, on his drive. That'll probably make more sense. But yeah, that's a good thing that's just happened, which is going to work handy in the summer when I've got the van, the ZX, the ML and the Altea at the door, and the caravan, just to pop one on his drive, especially when we go away in the caravan, because I like the drive to be clear, so when we get back I can get the caravan onto the drive with the motor mover. So that's to come. He said I can. I didn't even ask. He specifically come to me and told me this, so that's a good sign. But it's not permanent. But even if it's for a few months over the summer and stint of the summer, happy days. So I'll catch you on tomorrow's vlog on Thursday, but that's all I'm really doing today, because I'm going to do a bit of filming on this. So I'll catch you soon. Hello guys, welcome back to Thursday's vlog. Got a bit of an interesting one, but I'll keep this one for in a minute. I'll just show you what's over here. Again, nothing of interest, just an MOT. A shorter one today again. I'm just trying to keep them to a relative length and see how it goes, putting some shorter videos on, some longer videos. So this week, I'll put quite a bit in on Tuesday. But for now, we've got this little Fiesta in for MOT. Again, nothing of major interest. It is what it is. Probably the 3-cylinder EcoBoost. It's locked. But yeah, just a basic everyday Fiesta. There's not a great deal to record on it. It's been checked over and it's all good to go for MOT. New project, Beetle. And all you guys will be saying, what an idiot, Dan. But there's a reason behind that, guys. It was just going to go to scrap. And the lady asked me if I wanted it for a price I simply could not refuse. I've done a separate video on this. And I simply turned round to her and said, okay, I will have it. So I bought it off her. And I put it up onto Gumtree last night for sale at a reasonable price. And I am not joking you. My phone lit up like a Christmas tree. A guy is on his way right now from London. He says, I'll pay your deposit and everything. I said, no, forget the deposit. I said, just send us a picture of your ticket so I know you're legit. He's coming up here. Well, he will be on his way up here soon. He actually paid me £100 more than I asked for it. And I'm going to pick him up at the train station at 3 o'clock. He's going to pay us. He's going to put it into trade. I'm not bothered as long as it's official that I get the yellow slip and I've got the reference number done online before he drives off. And then after that point, he can drive off and do what he wants. He can get as many speeding tickets as he likes. That keeps the lady who owns the car in the clear when we've got an email from DVLA at that time. And I'll also do a separate handwritten signed for receipt to say he's took the car at this date, this time, and it's up to him if he wants to drive it to London out of MOT, but it only just ran out yesterday. So it's only like 1 day out. And the beauty is, guys, is... like I keep saying to a lot of people, they go, oh, I'm just going to put my car in for a test. This is a car that you like. If you don't care less about it, who cares? This car, you see, now, has got no history on the MOT of the welding. I mean, as you know, it needs welding done, but this guy's going to get the welding sorted out, and then he's going to MOT it. And then once it's been MOT'd, the car's got a clean history. So all I'm saying to you is just remember, when you just go, I'm just going to stick it in for MOT and see what happens. If they fail the arse out the car, then you're generally going to keep the car. It leaves a permanent record for the rest of the car's life on the system. So when you come to sell it, someone's going to say, oh, a couple of years ago, corrosion. And I must admit, I do this myself. If I'm looking at buying a car, I put the reg in, and if I see any things about corrosion, I generally walk away, because once a car's been hacked at and welded, depending on its value, I'm not interested. So the good thing with this is take it to your local garage and get a pre-MOT done like we do. So we've found what needs done to it, but there's been nothing logged on the system. Where if I had just took it in and failed it, then the car is like effectively like a category write-off, so to speak. Probably worse nowadays, because not many people do the checks because they cost money, and when you're buying a car for little money, no one cares. But what people do is do MOT checks, and when you see lines and lines of corrosion and stuff, you think, I do. If I look at a car and see it's got corrosion, I think, it's not got long left. It'll be needing welding the next year, the year after, the year after. So yeah, little tip. If you do like your car and you plan on keeping it, don't just take it in for an actual MOT to fail, because that you will get a permanent record, is take it to your local garage and get a pre-MOT where they're not logged on the system. And bearing in mind as well, if you take it in for an MOT and you've still got time left, you know, like up to a month or however long, and they fail it, you've then got no test left. So you also lose your little time remaining of test to either sell the car or get the car to where it needs to be. You know, carry on getting to work that week. You can't just buy a car like that. So never, ever, ever just take your car in blind for an MOT. Top tip, always get it pre-checked, which is what service we offer. When people ask for an MOT, we charge a little fee on top and we do a pre-MOT. So if the car needs any work done to it, it all gets sorted and rectified on the pre-MOT. Therefore, when we go for test, it's sorted. Which there was a few questions me and my dad got years ago when we were testing cars, and they flagged up and they said, why do you two are massively below the average of failing? And we simply explained, we're like, well, we pre-check everything and then take it in, so we would never have a ground to fail a car, because anything that needs done, it's done before the car's MOT'd. And in fairness, the guy was totally fine about it. He was like, yeah, no problem, guys. Just thought I would ask the question of why. Because as you can imagine, a main dealer with new cars, 3-year-old cars, they're barely going to be getting the odd tyre or brake pads of a failure, where somebody MOTing old work vans every day in knackered cars, they're going to be getting loads of failures on welding, structural items, where, you know, a dealership's really, within reason, a 3-year-old car will never have a corrosion. So the DVSA do have to factor in, or VOSA, as other people know, they do have to factor in every tester has a different criteria. But the new stuff now, they're trying to put it all in like everybody needs to be the same, which is bullshit. But that's the way things are going. But yeah, there's the Beetle, guys. I've done a separate video on it, and like I said, that'll probably be gone by tomorrow. If it isn't gone by tonight when he turns up, he'll have another £80 trip back home on the train, and there's another 3 or 4 people waiting locally to come pick it up anyway. So quick flip and that'll go towards the next project, and hopefully the van, if this isn't sorted and it needs a bit more money spent on it, we'll be on with that. Right, so I've got the little C3 in, like I keep telling you, these ones with the dreadful engine, the 3-cylinder wet belt, and it come in very noisy. It has got a blow on the exhaust, but there was oil pouring out everywhere, and it's been driven in with no oil cap. In fact, there's the wet belt just there, can you see it? Just there. So yeah, as you can see, full of oil down there. It's had a good wax oil, put it that way, it'll not rust. Oil all over here, right down there, you can see it all dripping on the floor. all over the bonnet. Can't find the oil cap, so we've had to order one from Citroen, and we're waiting for that to come this afternoon, and then it needs MOT. There's a little hole in the exhaust which needs welded, but yeah, this thing, we're told that last time she was in, it's got a terrible top or bottom end knock to the engine, terrible. So that has seriously not helped it. So we're going to do an oil and filter change on it and weld the exhaust, but I think honestly this one's just about ready to let go. I can't start it, but I will do a video once we've got the oil in, and you can have a listen for yourselves. It does not sound healthy, and it'll probably sound a hell of a lot less healthy than I last heard it a few weeks ago, because it's been run round I don't know for how long with the oil cap off. In fact, the oil luckily isn't too low, because I think what's happened is she's topped it up and forgot to put it back on. So fingers crossed it's not been driven too long the way that it is, to have not caused any more damage to the already, what I think, damaged engine. So we'll get that done, we'll get it welded, and I think the Fiesta's been checked over, that's all good. And I've already done this last night, but I just thought, again, I'm trying to do a bit on the vlogs and a bit separate, but I just decided to do a full black wax oil. Before you say why black, you promote not, it's an old van, that's why, and it's just a bit better for a commercial vehicle. All round the subframe, don't know how this has shown up in the light, but the whole subframe and everything's been done. I'll just grab a light just so you can see around there. So the whole subframe, all the sills, these usual bits that rust on them, all along the pipes, underneath the axle. There's a few little bits I could have done more, but it's enough. The main bits which go the back of the drums, which, you know, you should never put this stuff near brakes, but in this case, the back of them drums were not looking in the best of conditions, so it keeps them right up into the arches up there, as you can see. So happy days. Every little helps, as they say. Every little really does help on older vehicles when it comes to combating, letting them getting rotten by all this salt that the council keeps spreading. For my opinion, half the time they're spreading the salt for nothing, and then when you need them out, there's no one there. So anyways, I'll catch you soon when we get on with the Citroen. Right guys, bit of an update on Thursday's vlog. I've actually got a job in for Friday here, which I'll go through, and this little Citroen is proven to be problems. When we've had it running, we've got a temporary oil cap on at the minute, because we're still waiting for the one from Citroen, so just use the bag. And the exhaust is just blowing like mad. We didn't know if the noise, there's a lot of noise comes out of an engine when you've got the oil cap off, like the pressurised crankcase kind of system. It's like a noise that they make. But it is definitely the exhaust, and what we've found is the cat on it, which we've got off, has got a crack in. This pipe here is not available. It's already been previously welded, so that is as good as it can be, but the cat was blown severely, which was making the car run upset. Because of these reasons here, we've got the sensor out of it, but what these work from is you've got a sensor here, and you've got a sensor there, and what's happening is, when gas passes through, the cat is cracked. There, just there, can you see that? Behind them, I'll try and get this out a little bit. It's really sharp, this stuff, I can't get in properly, but can you just see there? That's a crack in the cat there. So that's obviously making a lot of noise and blowing, but it's corrupting all of the signals that needs to go to there. So, it's got a new cat on its way, not cheap, but the problem is, are these lambda sensors, O2 sensors, to get them out, so we've got to use heat, you've got to wrap them in water, a cloth with water on to get them out. So that's going to be a lot more expensive as well, because if you hook on at them and they snap, these can be upwards of over £100 each, but luckily you do it right and you get them out. So just waiting for the new cat to come to fit to it, and the cap from Citroen, it's had an oil change, so hopefully when that's fitted, the new cat and the oil cap, we'll see how it starts. Unfortunately, now I can't start it up, but I would have shown you. It sounded awful. It was blown, hunting. But the reason that the engine was hunting was because of that blow on that exhaust, corrupting the flow on the lambda sensors. So yeah, so that's that. This is what's in for tomorrow. Beautiful Lexus. I still can't think of the flipping names of them. I get lost every time. They're an L something. So no, they're not, so I'm wrong. They're a CD, the CD 200H. Really nice, all the LED lights on the back, LED lights on the front. And I'm just doing a bit of a service on it. Just want to show you how much I love these things. They're just great. Straight up air filter. Pop, open, done. Not too bad, but for a hybrid, that is getting a bit grotty. And as you can see, genuine Lexus Toyota parts, made by Denso, same as the EGR valve I've just fitted to that. So that's the air filter done, and I've been in. And again, I was going to call Lexus for making things awkward, but no, they've kept things as good as what Toyota do for the pollen filter. So obviously the glove boxes normally drop out on the Toyotas, not on this. Lovely little, really hidden panel. You wouldn't even know it was there when it's in place. Pop that out, and there's your pollen filter. Beautiful. And there we go. A bit of crude and everything in there. Genuine parts again. So I'll get all this put back together. Oil and filter change. Check over underneath. I don't think this one's actually MOT. So it'll just be a bit of a wax oil underneath. Health check. Oil and filter done. An MOT if it is. I need to check the diary. I don't think it is, but if it is, it'll get done. But yeah, I do like the interiors. Are a bit old school for the age of the car, I will say. Like that CD player drive in there, that just looks like it's lifted out of a hi-fi from the 90s. And this little flap thing here just makes it look a little bit untidy. But not long after this year, I don't know what year it's on a private plate, but there was a facelift and they were massively improved, updated, especially on this area. So yeah, that's what I've looked up, because I really did expect it to be a little bit more futuristic looking than that. But I must say, that wouldn't be out of place in I don't know, an 08 plate Lexus. But they do change everything literally just after the year this car was made, according to the owner. But still, nevertheless, very nice car. I love the colour, I love how it looks. And to be honest, that dashboard wouldn't really put us off. Well, excuse the wind. Wouldn't really put us off whatsoever, because being a Lexus, it all works. But like these heated seat buttons, that's as old school as it gets, isn't it? I'll tell you what's got little buttons like that is the radio, the factory fitted radio on one of these Astras. In fact, does this one have it on? It's locked, you won't be able to see, but when you press the little button on them, yeah, they do. See the two little buttons on that radio above the on-off switch? That's what it actually reminds us of. But at the end of the day, they work, don't they? If something works, don't mess about and don't change it, and you end off with actually a good product. But I do love all of this soft touch leather, really nice, very nice to drive, I will say. So, and I love the gas stick there, just different, isn't it? Lovely. So I'm going to get this glove box put back together, get the bonnet shut, and get it onto the lift when this one's done, and get the oil change done. Might just film that tomorrow, because it is technically tomorrow's work. And I'll catch you soon, guys. Right, quick one on the C3 before I get started on the Lexus. I've only got to drop the oil on that and coat the pipes and whatnot and do a safety check underneath. But this dreadful thing, I'll show you. That's a new cat fitted, new bracket. And like I said, it's a cheapo cat, but it's equipped for Euro 4. So let's hope it's okay for the test. We managed to save both sensors. They would have been expensive. But unfortunately, this piece of exhaust looks ropey. But you can't get them. They're just not being made by third-party companies, bar Citroën and Peugeot, which you'll get charged a fortune. Managed to clean as much of this oil off under here as we can. But you can only do what you can do. New oil filter, oil change done. Dreadful cars, these guys. Honestly, don't buy them. 3-cylinder, any other 3-cylinder, Citroën Peugeot range, the C3, the C4, they're just all... Honestly, I love me Citroën ZX, you know that. Dreadful cars. Avoid all of the newer PSA stuff. All the Vauxhall stuff is also this rubbish now. Avoid it. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Especially with these little 1200 3-cylinder wet belt engines. Dreadful. I'm going to bring it down now. I'm going to start it up, and you'll see it's running like a bag of crap, to be quite honest. But there's no engine management light on. As long as it passes the emissions, it's not an issue for the MOT. Right, so that's the car down off the lift. So just up to now, so you know, new cat fitted, saved the lambda sensors, all plugged in. The oil cap, which is missing, well, that's just temporary, so we can start out and get it in and out the garage. We're waiting for that for Citroën Peugeot. Temporary screen wash cap as well, which we've just used a cap to put over that. So yeah, we're going to go for the big old start up now, and you'll see how it sounds. Let's go for it. Chugging away and all sorts. No engine management lights on. If you listen to that. really not sounding well at all. I am going to try one thing, since it's got a new catalyst on. This could be affecting it, but it is actually working as it should. Don't worry about the smoke, it's the stupid stickers that you can't get off. Yeah, they put stickers on something that's going to get red hot, but they're special stickers that you can't take off. Idiotic. But yeah, waiting for the oil cap. That could be a slight cause of the bad running, but I don't think so, because that's a really good seal on there. So that shouldn't be causing any issues. What I am going to do is plug the diagnostics in and reset the O2 lambda sensor loop. It's called a loop, and you can reset the loop, which should hopefully relearn it to this new catalyst. But yeah, just a rather dreary pile of car right there. Not for me at all. I mean, you know, like no air conditioning or nothing. Just Billy basic as they come. Blanked out switches. Nah. And what's that? 47,000 mile on there. 47,000 mile. I've had cars with 200,000 mile that run better than that. But we're going to do that. We're going to plug the machine in, reset the loop. It may make it run a little bit better, but if not, it's just going to have to be how it is. As for the MOT, yeah, guys, remember what I tell you on the dash. No engine management light. If it passes the emissions, it's not part of the test. As long as it's not actually physically really badly cutting out, even then, you struggle to fail them. So a lot of people think too deep into MOTs to what they really are. It's minimum standards, remember. So reset this, get the Lexus on the lip, and I might catch you, but I've got to be away for 3 o'clock. So I'm going to the train station with the Beetle to say goodbye to that one, hopefully. And that should be it for the day. Trying a bit of metal polish and T-cut, and if you look at how I've gotten the back of this stainless steel roof rack compared to the other side of it, all dull and rusty, it's going to be my next little job when I have some time. Just make them look a lot nicer. It's a nice stainless steel. Anyways, going to crack on, guys. I still haven't even had a chance to get me Subway that I got hours ago. Don't worry, I'm halfing it with my dad. I'll catch you soon. Right, final update of Thursday. I've just reprogrammed the C3, and I think you'll agree, without the oil cap being on properly, that is running a lot better. No more hunting and jerking. That is running absolutely spot on how it needs to be. Just need to get the oil cap sorted, obviously. That'll be due to be delivered shortly. But yeah, just went on, re-initialised the engine, the ECU and the learned values, done all that. No fault codes, no engine lights, and that. Sounding so much better there now. So happy days on that. That's fixed. I'm going to leave it on one note. I've already done a separate upload of this to Facebook, but a cool little thing with this CT200H Lexus. So you get in and you switch it on like a normal hybrid, and you get what you would expect to find, which is your hybrid monitor. Press the sport button and you get a rev counter. Back to normal mode, hybrid counter, and there we go. You don't often get a rev counter on a hybrid, to be quite honest. Even when we're starting up, there we go. You can only rev them a little bit. I wish the Toyotas would do that. So yeah, quite a cool, back to normal. Yeah. Simple things interest me, but I think that is a pretty cool little function to have. So I'm going to crack on now, get it on the lift, do the oil and filter, quick check over, and that's it done. Catch you tomorrow on Friday's vlog, guys. Just one thing I wanted to show quickly, because I've got 15 minutes to get me dinner and get up to Morpeth with the Beetle. This Lexus. Seen a couple of things, but not actually seen a cat lock yet. There's your cat lock. As we all know, these hybrids, the cats are worth a lot of money on them. So what people have fitted are these things called a cat lock. So it's a tray that covers where the cat is in there, so people kind of get them. So I assume this is some kind of strong stainless steel. As a bar goes across here, maybe into the subframe, and there's these like locking snap bolts that go into the body of the car. which it sits on that frame, and these bits are tilted up that way. It's quite heavy duty. 2 questions I've got though. One is, if you ever need to do any work on the exhaust, you're knackered for getting in there. And 2, is this stuff really that strong? Because if they can cut through an exhaust with a diamond cutter, can they not just cut this stuff up like paper? I don't know. It looks just to me like stainless steel, which can be cut just as easily as pretty much the stainless steel the exhaust's made of. And secondly, I think Lexus and Toyota fitted these things as part of a recall to stop them getting nicked, to save the money, and also started doing this scheme to get people the cats cheaper, because people having to write off their cars in some cases. I don't know the truth about that, but I'm sure Toyota and Lexus were offering a scheme about it, because what was happening, people were even getting them nicked and willing to pay the full amount of obscene amount of money for them, couldn't get them anywhere, so they were having a massive problem. So they actually come up with this idea. Anybody wants to shed any light on it, let us know. But for now, only thing I'm interested in is getting me bloody dinner. So I'll catch you tomorrow on Friday's vlog. And yeah, done the oil change. Nice, lovely, easy, screw on metal filter, some plug there. We don't even have to take the under tray off. Nice little panel, lovely cars. Something to be said, Toyota and Lexus just have it perfect. Thanks for watching, catch you tomorrow. Just a quick one, guys, to end off this week's vlog on Friday. I haven't really done much filming, to be honest. I showed you generally what was in last night, but I'll just show you. We've got this little Yaris, well, it's a Verso S, which was otherwise known as a Yaris Verso before these come out. Quite an unusual car. I was telling you about these. The back wheel bearing hubs are absolutely eye-watering money. I had one of them. Hopefully it doesn't need the next. It's just in. It's got a bit of a rattle. We've found, obviously, a bit of wear on the front tyres. They're not too bad. Like a nail in the back. Check the suspension, as I say, on 2-post lift. It's quite difficult. Could possibly be the drop links. Back bushes on the wishbone arms are a little bit perished, but I wouldn't have thought they would create too much issue. And just something unusual I just thought I would show you. I was wondering what this was up here. It looks like a wheelie bin wheel, and I think that's exactly what it is. But I've got no idea or know why that would be behind there. It hasn't just magically appeared up there. Somebody's put it there. But I'm not really sure what for. There's an interesting one for you. But there we go. That's what that's in for. This Lexus, you seen this last night, had the wax oil done underneath, just around the pipes. And obviously the service, but my dad's just busy on gluing this. Because the guy had a go of doing it himself, so we're trying to get rid of all of the old glue off it and everything. Which I personally said I don't want to get involved with, because he's got glue down here. Super glue ran all down the paint, unfortunately. So I personally walk away from them because you kind of just end off getting into a bit of a, and obviously there's a mark there, which we haven't done, but it's like it's finding a way of getting the glue to stick properly when somebody's already been at it, unfortunately. But we're having a go. He's a nice fella. He supports my channel. He comes. He's a really nice guy. It's just obviously with things like this, it's more of a body work kind of thing than a mechanic's job, if you get what I mean. The other thing that we've got in, I'm on with the van, but I'll get back to you on a separate video for that. We've been on with the Astra. This I showed you last night. So I had oil and filter, air filter. It's going in for MOT. We saved the front discs on it and stuck new pads on. Don't know if you can see them there. Nice new pads. The back caliper was seized on the electronic handbrake. We've managed to get it functioning, but we can't get one of these until it'll be like sometime next week. So it'll come in for that, and also the handbrake cable, which you can actually see nicely through the wheel. That's seized a bit, so probably new handbrake cable and caliper at the same time next week. But yeah, nothing really much to speak of. Bit of a joke like with these, where they called them, this is where Vauxhall were getting a bit silly, putting these great big, what are they, 19-inch wheels on, calling it an SRI, making it look like sporty and stuff, and then just putting the basic 1.6 engine in it. It's, to me, an SRI should be something with a bit of bump, even an 1800 or something, you know. This is an Astra A. Don't ask. But yeah, reset the service light on it, and it's ready to go for test. And just to come back in for that bit work, it's locked, so I can't really show you much. just keeping it short, guys. I'm going to rush away now to get me dinner with my dad. I want to get the van, try to get it put back together so I can, it's actually starting to do me head in, to be quite honest. That close to getting rid. I've spent more than enough to what I would normally want to spend on these. So it'll get its turn. It's still not the best of starting first thing in the mornings. I've got a few other things I'm trying, but after that I'm washing my hands of it, and it's still worth good enough money as it stands to what I paid for it. So we'll see. The Beetle, that went as well yesterday. Guy travelled all the way from London to take it away. Happy days. That's out my way. So yeah, that leaves us just the van to get sorted. If that misbehaves, it's going the journey, and then I can just put my focus attention on the Altea. That doesn't really need anything but a plate I'm going to put on the EGR. Even though it's been mapped out, I still want it physically blanked, which I bought for the grand sum of like £3 for a stainless steel plate. A nice slip-in one, so you don't need to pull all the pipes off. And what else have we got? Yeah, obviously ZX. Since the C-Class has gone to Chris out of the garage, I'm debating, not yet, maybe it's mid-Feb, towards the end of Feb, get that out of the garage at the top of my street, do them axle bushes, MOT it, and then bang it in the garage where the C-Class was, and then wait until the 1st of March and probably tax it, maybe, then, yeah, I don't know yet, see what happens. I'll probably see how the weather forecast goes, because a lot can change between now and then, and I don't really want the ZX out of that storage. I've paid for it as well. I'll probably leave it till the end of Feb, beginning of March, and then yeah, probably beginning of March, get it MOT'd, and then stuff like that. Same with the ML, that's sitting over there in John's yard, and that cut out once when I started it, when it was that absolutely freezing cold week we had, so I'm quite tempted to go over there, now I've got space on the drive, get that started up, give it a quick drive home and see how it behaves, because I need that ready for the touring season at the end of March. Wait, it won't be the end of March, it'll be the beginning of April, because I've got the NEC. So yeah, that's it, guys. I don't know how this has come across, because I've done a lot of recording on the van for the van project this week. I'm sorry I'm behind on my recordings. I haven't even got last week's uploaded yet. Just been busy, and as you can understand, I have a business to run, family, I've got my own life. I just get to do the YouTube as and when. So I'll catch you all next week on Tuesday. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, excuse all that racket there, a dreadful little one-cylinder little moped thing. Yeah, so if you have enjoyed it, please hit the like. If you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe. It doesn't cost you any money, and it helps my channel greatly, and I do appreciate all the comments. Keep them coming, guys, and I do take a while to get back, but I do get back to every single one of you, and I'll catch you next week. Bye.